Hey there, Mike Luque here, and I am in sunny and warm Miami, Florida at Rinaldi Performance with studio owner Melanie Rinaldi. Hi, Melanie.
Hi.
Thank you so much for having me this weekend. It's been fabulous.
It's been a pleasure.
Melanie obviously is a gyrotonic trainer, and we were talking a lot yesterday when we were out at dinner about her intake process with clients, and it's very extensive and more thorough than mine, for example. So tell everybody, what is your intake process? Because it's something.
Yeah. So when I was an athlete, during that training time, I was evaluated a lot by a ton of professionals, biomechanics specialists, technique specialists, conditioning specialists, and they all went through a very thorough process of evaluating my movement patterns, even visual patterns. And I really took a liking to their methods of evaluating how we move and seeing how I can bring that into the gyrotonic world and into my training of my clients as well.
So tell about what the actual process is, because yours is multi-step. Like I send out one form done.
Right.
You got a bit more than that.
Right, so I usually start with my clients with a 1-hour consultation where we talk about their goals, their past medical history, if they've had injuries. Most of the time they have, all the way back as far as they can remember, how much movement experience they've had with physical therapists, chiropractors. I consult a lot with them, and so I like to bring them into the picture. We discuss their commitment level, what they think they're able to do or what they're comfortable doing.
Right.
And then from there, the second hour, they usually come back for a thorough physical evaluation where I put them through very simple and basic movement patterns, a squat, a lunge, if they're capable of, spinal motions, can they move their spine, can they move their hips, and that usually takes about an hour, and usually, actually every single time, they're very surprised at what they thought they were capable of and what they're actually capable of, and that gives us both a very good idea of their starting point. And then from that point on, after that second hour, that second part of the evaluation, then I start putting them through a specific program that I developed for them.
Right. And you're very specific. You get out the goniometer, you're measuring joint angles, all that kind of stuff. You're doing the pictures, you got the grid and all that stuff.
Right. So I like to take measurements, before and after pictures, mobility pictures, angled pictures. I come from a background of very specific, results oriented. And so, we needed measurable changes. And so I like to give myself a 4-week window to produce changes in my clients. And so we always recheck 4 weeks later after we've had sessions to see where they stand afterwards. And we use those measurements as a guide to see how much improvement they've had.
And so you've mentioned, I've got this background. Tell us about your background. It is something else, again.
I was very fortunate to be part of the Canadian national diving team for about 10 years on the team, and then 20-year total career. That permitted me to compete at an international Olympic world-class level for a decade. And I also was able to come to the University of Miami and be a student athlete at the same time. So I competed 11 months out of the year. The first part of the year was collegiately, and I was followed very strictly by the collegiate program, which is a whole different type of training and evaluation. And then I was also followed by the Olympic program, which was a secondary, very high level sophisticated program as well. And so I was very fortunate to be part of the Canadian team and be part of the American collegiate team, and that just gave me an amazing opportunity to travel and to compete against the best in the world on an elite level.
Now, as an aside to training, what we're doing, 11 months of diving seems like a very long season with very short all-season, short recovery.
Yes.
Is that abnormal to dive that much?
Well, I would be surprised if a lot of other high-level athletes are not doing the same. Maybe you wouldn't know, but I don't think a lot of athletes take a lot of time off.
Well, they might not take time off in training, but from their particular sport.
Right.
It just seems like it's a lot of water.
It absolutely is, which is why our career, I would say, is very short-lived.
Okay.
Usually by the time you're mid-20s to just the beginning of your 30s, you're retiring. So it is a short career, but because I decided to do collegiate and international, which is a great opportunity, not many athletes in the world get to do both at the same time. You only do it for 4 to 6 years, and it's very intense. Yeah, you don't do it the entire time. Once I graduated from college, then I did only full-time national team training, and it is probably where the majority of the wear and tear came. It's during that time, because 1 month is not enough time to really decompress your body and
Yeah.
heal.
So, see if I got this right. It was because of your injuries that you were introduced to gyrotonic training?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And where was that?
So here at the Physical Therapy Center that I was collaborating with in 2006, Polestar Pilates and Physical Therapy.
Oh, Brent, right.
Brent
yes.
Anderson and Jared Lubers were my physical therapists at the time, and I had graduated from the University of Miami in 2006. And so they were not taking care of me anymore and had referred me to Brent Anderson.
Okay.
And it was a blessing in disguise because they took really great care of me, and immediately upon my arrival, they noticed that the majority of my shoulder issues, lumbar issues, and neck issues were coming from a rigid thoracic.
Okay.
And so, we began with a little bit of Pilates work, but then Brent said, I think gyrotonic's really what is going to help you most. So he brought me to his machines that he had in his studio, and he.
That one.
Yeah.
That one right there.
The one an original Julio
And we
machine.
borrowed for the weekend for the course.
Right, and we did the pull series.
Okay.
And it was extremely difficult for me. I just remember feeling like I couldn't move.
Oh.
And I could do anything. I was a high-level athlete. I felt like I could do anything, and I couldn't do the pull series. And I was immediately drawn to it because I felt like there was so much I couldn't do, which meant there was a ton of room for improvement.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That is the positive side of a negative initial consultation. Is wow, I got so much room to grow.
Right. That's exactly right.
And so then, because of your background as that high-level athlete, you also work with athletes.
Of
Not
course.
weekend warriors,
Right.
like the rest of us, but with actual athletes. So tell us
Right.
about your experience with them, with the gyrotonic specifically.
Right. So now that I'm an instructor in gyrotonic, a lot of my former teammates and current teammates that are training for the Olympics and at high level come and see me because they have similar injuries. Their shoulder hurts, their hip hurts, and really the majority of the time, unless something has been torn, you can find ways to heal that area, addressing other parts of the body, like the thoracic, like my shoulder injury. And now they have come to me seeking the same help that I was seeking when I went to Polestar.
Right.
And so it's been transformative for them because, like I said, when you're a high-level, world-class athlete, you're introduced to the best of the best, and they don't hold anything back. But the majority of the people don't know about gyrotonic, so they
Yes.
don't realize that it actually exists out there, and it's an amazing tool to help people recover from injury or just get their body back to a functional state that can help them perform in elite sports.
One of the things that we talked about yesterday that is different than when you're working with the regular public, and the regular public is wonderful people, but the motivation of athletes.
Right.
It's not the same as when we're working with regular folks. So
Right.
I'll talk about that a little bit.
Right. So the minute that an NFL player, MLB player, Olympic diver, or a runner, or even a collegiate athlete comes into the studio, you know right away that you're going to train them differently. They
Right.
think at a different level. That's why they've made it that far.
Seriously.
It takes specific and very strong qualities that they've developed over repetition, sacrifice, determination, drive to get to that point.
Right.
And they're here because they don't want anything to stand in their way. So they're coming in with a mindset of, I want to fix this and I need your help and I'm going to do whatever it takes. So you have to kind of adopt that mindset and understand how they think, that they're willing to do 10 times more than any other client. There are no excuses. They're never going to be late for the most part. And you load them up usually slowly, but they can take up to 80% more easily,
Right.
more than a regular client, and that's what they want. They recover faster, they take
Right.
care of their body. If they're at an elite level, the majority of the time they're doing almost everything right. They just have not found that missing link to fill that gap where they're injured
Right.
and then they want to put in the work. So you usually have to work them much harder than a regular person.
Yeah, that makes absolute sense. And then that kind of goes back to the intake, because
Right.
they're looking for measurable results. Like a regular client's like, oh, my hip feels better. An athlete wants 3 degrees difference, makes a huge difference in some
Oh yeah,
sports.
millimeters, seconds. A dive is 1.3 seconds.
Yeah, that's very fast, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Doing 3 flips, a couple spirals.
Right, and luckily because of the sport that I was in, I was able to develop that eye, that very quick eye of seeing what's going wrong in 1.3 seconds. So when someone's doing a gyrotonic movement or an exercise, it's easy for me to see what's going wrong just because it's much slower than a dive, right? But they are results oriented.
Right.
And if you don't produce results, then they're out looking for somebody or something
Somebody else,
that will. And I was
exactly.
exactly the same way. I wanted somebody that was going to push me and get me to where I was going, because they're very goals oriented and results oriented, and they will do whatever it takes to get there. And if you're motivated as much as they are, they're going to come back and you will succeed together.
Right. Excellent.
Yeah.
So down here in Miami with Melanie, if you happen to be in Miami and you want to work and you want to get work, you want to work, you're not lazy, you know, just coming in, checking it out. You really want to get results, get the work done, improve your performance in tennis, golf, triathletes, anything like that, because not diving is quite specific. Any of those sports, come see Melanie, come down to sunny and hot Miami and enjoy your time here at her beautiful studio. And thank you very much again for having me for the weekend, and thank you very much for sitting and talking.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thanks, guys. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Bye.